Hey there, Kaleidoscope Clan. How's everyone doing? Today, I want to sit down and kind of have a conversation with you about our priorities. It's time for the Me First movement. Let's go. The Me First movement by Mariposa Ma'at. We already did the Me Too movement. Now it's time to do Me First. Successfully having done our shadow work, we've already inspected the very worst. So using the law of attraction, self-love is where it's at. Putting your happiness above all others doesn't actually make you a brat. It makes you a healthy and balanced spiritual being, able to show up with great energy, blessing all of those that you encounter, no longer complaining or being needy. Teaching you to serve others before oneself is all wrong, creating the oppressive reality, making you feel like you don't belong. Now that we're shifted to the new earth, we must show up differently and show out, demonstrating how to integrate everything we've learned, showing what alchemy is all about. Give up the codependent role, focusing on others while living in denial, not feeling worthy of rest and relaxation, constantly putting yourself on trial. No, you must be incredibly selfish and heal yourself. Don't ever let others dictate your life. It's the best reparations, and we don't need permission. Cut out the BS with your metaphorical knife. The Me First movement. Asha. Hey there, Kaleidoscope Clan. How's everyone doing? This is Mariposa Ma'at, and I am here on my balcony. I have really been processing a lot recently. You know, the energies are extremely intense right now, and they pretty much, I don't think it's ever going to let up. Let's just say that. It just kind of changes, but it doesn't let up. So, yeah, I've been really focused on keeping myself grounded. But in the meantime, I really want to make sure that I am supportive in the way that I can be of the collective during these intense times. I know that there are things that need to be said. So, I'm here to say it. So I think I had mentioned this earlier in the year, but we need to implement, each one of us needs to implement the Me First movement, right? We had the Me Too movement, which was about declaring how we've been victimized, which is very valid in receiving support from one another and encouraging one another and understanding that these issues are universal. They're not personal to one person. It's something that we all have to take on. It's a very important movement. But now we have to get further along down the road, right? In our path to healing, because that has to be the end goal, is to be healed from these things, right? So the idea is, now that we've identified the violation, right, we've done the shadow work. Hopefully that means that you've really looked into the details of your situation, how it affected you in your life, and how to rise above that in a healthy way, right? But now we have to look at, how to leave it in the past, right? And that is the Me First movement. All of us need to join the Me First movement, meaning that no matter who you are, no matter what your obligations are to other people, you have to put yourself first. You have to make yourself the priority, because in our own way, we're all breaking generational curses. This is a curse that's been put on humanity. The curse of, people sucking the energy out of you, and of being a victim, right? We have to release that, and we have to make sure that we're not victimized anymore. So the way that we do that is we love ourselves. We don't pour our energies into other people first. We can do it after we're full, after we're in a good place energetically, and we can afford the loss of energy to go toward other people and other people's priorities, right? So in the self-love movement, we have to rebuke slavery in all forms. Everyone has to rebuke slavery in all forms, okay? If you're down with the Me First movement, and that means first you should look at yourself. Are you enslaved to anything? Are you obligated to anything that you didn't really sign up for? You don't really believe that your sovereign person needs to be involved in it, right? You need to rebuke that spirit, whatever it is. As far as slavery, so you have to look at literally your obligations. Are they things that you kind of inherited from other people telling you that they're things that you have to do, or do you really stand behind those things, right? It's a new idea to actually decide how you feel about something. And I know for me, when I first cut out American holidays in the 90s, my family went ballistic and really villainized me when I could completely articulate why it didn't fall in line with my values. And it didn't mean that I didn't want to see them, but I didn't want to do it under that guise, and I didn't want to participate in self-hating rituals. Right? Again, this is all about the Me First movement. What are my values? Is this what I want to do? Right? You have the right to ask that. So, you must know that if you do this, that you could very well be cast out. You could very well be considered the black sheep and all of those things. But the point is that the most important thing is your connection to spirit, being in line with who you are here to be. Ashe. So whenever you're dealing with someone, in your family, your spouse, your parents, your siblings, your children, and you think about the obligations, that you have, you need to really determine how you feel. You need to stop and take a breath. Count, be present with yourself. So when you're starting to feel tension, if you feel pressure to do something that you really don't want to do, you need to take a moment and allow yourself the space to process it. So I would definitely encourage journaling regularly as far as your emotions, so you're clear about how you feel, because it's one thing to feel it, but when you write it down and read it to yourself, then it's easier to see what it looks like outside of yourself. I remember when I was a child, I used to write in my journal. I guess I probably still do it now, but it's not the same. But I used to write in my journal and then read it and be like, oh, like it read different, so it made me want to change my behaviors. It's like going to therapy. When you say things out loud and then you realize how stupid you sound, then that helps you to change it, right? Because until you said it openly, you didn't really realize who you were being in the situation. Okay, so yes, it's very common for anybody who has been in an abusive relationship, been an empath in a situation that's toxic, is for you to have issue with that moment of fight, flight, or freeze, right? You don't know how to stand up for yourself. In the moment, you kind of go along with it. This is what I used to do, because I was a people pleaser. When I felt uncomfortable, I would freeze. And a lot of times I would just try to get through the situation. And I would just try to act as normal as possible, even though I was feeling really awkward and stuff. Like I wouldn't know how to address things with people. So it's important that, you know, as you get older, I mean, anybody, when you're young too, but as you get older, you don't really have a choice. Like, you have to change your behavior. You can't just be like, oh, you can't just disassociate and let life continue, because you're going to get the karma from whatever things, you know, you bypass at the crossroads, right? So you have to take that space for yourself. Now, I live solo, so it's easy for me to say, because I actually was, you know, forced into a solo life after a divorce and an abusive divorce situation. However, I digress. The point is, though, even by myself sometimes, I, at first, would feel guilty when I would just want to relax, or when I would, like, even though there's no reason for me to do anything, I would kind of tell myself that there's something wrong with that want to relax. And I know that was my mother's voice, you know. But it took a lot for me to divorce that voice in my own mind, because I thought it was what I really believed, you know. So it's really important that you're clear about what you really believe. When you're around other people who have a certain value system that's different, it's very easy to get confused, especially if you're an empath. So you have to know what your needs are. You have to go back down to basics, right? Sit with yourself and just kind of be like, hey, what is the problem? What do I need? And then when you figure out what you need, you have to figure out how you're going to fulfill your needs. And that means that, related to other people, that means that you're probably going to have to be more selfish, right? Where people might have a problem with your pullback, but that doesn't matter. The point is that your balance in energy is what is the most important, right? Empaths, people who feel other people's energy, like myself, no one can tell me, you know, whether I need to go to a concert or whether I need to go to an event, because they don't know what the experience is like for me. So I no longer feel pressure around what other people think or want, you know. And that is healing. That is not being oppressed, you know, just to do what you want. I can negotiate my space and time with people, but now, because I haven't had to, I know who's worth doing that, because I don't have to, right? In the Me First movement, we take care of ourselves, right? Because we want to show up full, confident, and happy, you know? Like, yeah, I just got a massage, you know? I didn't. But I'm saying that when you show up, you should be like, yeah, I just pampered myself. What can I do for you? Because I'm in a good mood. I have good energy. I've set myself up to have great energy to offer to you, right? What I always think of in my mind is an Oprah show once. she had someone who wrote a book who, I guess he'd had a stroke or something, so he couldn't speak, but he could see and he could feel people's energy, but they couldn't he couldn't communicate. And he was saying how he could feel, and he was I believe he was a brain surgeon himself, so he had dealt with people, but now he had to understand it from the patient's perspective. So he spoke about people entering the room and how he could feel their energy. And the moral of the story was, be responsible for the energy that you bring, to the collective. When you come into a room, what energy are you carrying? If you feel like shit, don't come. It's better just to take care of yourself, right? And if you're one of those people that feels like you have to take care of other people to be worthy, you're going to have to heal that, because that's not healthy either. Codependency is not healthy. So no, don't serve other people until you're well taken care of. So the idea of like the barefoot pregnant mother, I mean, there's nothing wrong if she wants to be barefoot and pregnant, but of a mother who is neglected and not pampered is something that we need to get rid of, okay? Because those are the mothers who be yelling, who be all stressed out, who be abusing. I know, I normally don't talk like that, but who abuse, their children in all kinds of ways and feel that their unhappiness is justification for whatever it is that they do, okay? So when you start to make yourself a priority and you stop bitching and complaining to other people, it's life transforming. You will start to attract a more positive, a more empowered, a more confident energy, And again, if you feel guilty, do something more for yourself. Like, push it a little bit more. Because no matter what, treating yourself with love and kindness is the answer. If you need it, whatever you need, whatever your inner child needs, give it to you, right? Me first, and everybody should be able to say that, just because no one should be giving from a point of being depleted. You have to take care of yourself. So another thing that I would like to offer to the collective is the idea of that day of rest that we talk about, or that people talk about, the day of rest, 1 out of 7. Like, going to church or even sitting at home or cleaning or doing whatever people do is not a day of rest. Like, I'm going to speak for mothers. Mothers need a day to themselves to just lay in the bed and not do anything. That's a day of rest, okay? Like, there's some rituals that we just need to go ahead and understand as a collective. Everybody needs rest. And I support that for everyone. I'm just saying, as a mother, that it's especially important for people who are in charge of taking care of other people. Yeah. And no one can force you to take care of yourself. So it's something really that you can't really, it's not cute being the martyr anymore. It's not a good look. Just take care of yourself, okay? So, in knowing that, this means that you have to practice. This is something that we did in my sweat lodge when I was in Atlanta. You practice saying no. You have to practice saying no, Ashe. You have to practice saying no. Get comfortable with it. And practice it in your imagination. Yell it really loud. You know what I'm saying? That's what we did in the sweat lodge. Be like, no. no to anything that you want to say no to. Let your yes be your yes, your no be your no. These are some of our strongest tools, are our words. Okay? The words sound power. So activate your no. Block out those things that are taking up your space so that you can, charge up on the things that you know that you're supposed to be connected to, supporting, energizing, and all of those things. So yes, meditate on your no. Okay? So all of this is really about how to nurture your feminine, as far as allowing yourself to be nurtured, relaxing and stuff like that. However, you can't do it unless you develop your masculine side, because who is it that's saying no? That's your masculine side. So it's kind of like you have to pull up your warrior to fight for your inner child, or for, the soft feminine that's trying to get a rest. Okay? So a lot of people are confused about gender and sexuality and stuff, as far as what it really means, because again, we all have male and female inside of us. So we're talking about, in the Me First movement, we are talking about using our masculine energy to protect our sacred feminine, and giving our sacred feminine whatever she needs to find balance in this crazy, violent world. Ashe. This crazy, violent, competitive, overly toxic masculine reality. Okay? Yes. So, the Me First movement, get with it. Okay? I'm about to do another video about spiritual predators and energy vampires, just because that's also something that needs to be talked about right now. I'm just going to go ahead and roll it out because I want people to have access to the information. Today is the Mars-Uranus conjunction at 23 degrees, 26 degrees Taurus. Okay? Mars and Uranus is cataclysmic. It is surprise. It is powerful. People tend to think of it as violent and like in a negative, but it could be positive. It's possible. Yeah. I mean, it could have something to do with resources, right? Surprise and resources. But anyway, Taurus is why I'm saying that, resources. So it's really important to be conscious spiritually. And so that is why I am offering these things. During this time, it's okay if you're tired. It's okay to power down. It's okay to not be productive, because there are internal things that are going on spiritually right now that we're all integrating, and a lot of people aren't conscious. But we really are spiritual beings. So we have to operate from that if you don't want to overload yourself physically. Don't stress yourself out right now. The solar activity and the astrological alignments right now are incredibly intense, and so it's naturally stressing us out. Lots of change. There was an X flare yesterday, solar flare. That's like the highest, level that they rate them. So yeah, we're getting hit with all kinds of solar radiation. The melee and the confusion that we were expecting for the elections has started. The psych ops are in full swing. So it's all about me first, okay? Take care of yourself. So thank you, Kaleidoscope Plan. I hope that you're able to take something from that You are important. But if you don't believe it, then you're blocking out your blessings. You have to take care of yourself. Treat yourself like your best friend. Protect yourself like you are your best friend, like you are the person that you love the most. And you should be. Okay? All right. So until next time, continue to embody the sacred transformation. This is Mariposa Ma'at. Peace.
She was just a girl.
All right, Classical Clan. So I support you in putting yourself first. Join the Me First movement today. Join me. Let's make ourselves our first priority.
It's always a good time.
Get on this healing journey. Thanks for watching. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.